Like a lot of other professional sports, the NBA has adopted rules and a playing style to encourage more offense. If you go back to 2002, the Dallas Mavericks scored 103 points per game. That was number one in the NBA. This season, the Sacramento Kings are scoring 120 points per game. So Dallas's 103 today would be dead last. More three-point shooting. It's the equivalent of baseball, swing for a home run. If you don't hit a home run, you strike out. Shoot a three. If you miss a three, keep shooting. There have been 23 40-point games this month. This month. And some of the players, Kyle Kuzma, Lauri Markkanen, Nikola Vucevic. So the skill, you have to have skill to get 40. You do. But not everybody should be taking threes. But you're seeing that. It just feels like, we're going to eventually make some of these. And there are some wonderful shooters. But not everybody should be scoring 40 points a night. And I'm okay with offense, but then it becomes how much of a good thing. I like home runs, but then when you watch baseball, it's just home runs. Basketball, it's just all threes all the time. And then you have a player like the Joker. He had 31, 11, and 13. He's the favorite right now to win the MVP. And if you watch the game, the game is highlight driven. And, ESPN played a large role in that. To make ESPN, you had to be in the highlights. You had that with defensive backs blowing up wide receivers. This is how you get into the highlights. Dunks, that's how you get into the highlights. I'm going to cross you over, I get into the highlights. Now, I'm shooting threes and I'm getting 50, I'm in the highlights. The Joker, another triple-double. Denver's 14-0 when he has a triple-double. There's nothing impressive about his game from a highlight standpoint. Very, very little. You watch and you go, that's old man basketball. Nobody can stop it. But we've told the story now a couple of years in a row. Now, Denver hasn't done anything in the postseason. That's why Luka is second favorite right now. But I don't think they're going to do damage in the postseason. Now, I know it's a regular season award, but we like to extrapolate, and we like to go, okay, what happened that year in the playoffs? And that's the difference. We're waiting. What do you have? Ja Morant has highlights every single night. I don't know if they're as good as they think they are, but they are entertaining to watch. Nuggets have won 15 consecutive home games. They're doing what you want them to do. Not exciting. I don't know if you're going to tune in to watch Michael Porter Jr. III, Jamal Murray. Probably not. Even tune in to see the Joker. And I watched him. I watched last night. Go back in, fake left, fake right, a little jump hook, and that's it.
If you love a good outlet pass.
But he's one of the best passers to play the game. Not best passing big man. He's moved past everybody. He's one of the best passers in the NBA. Truly is. Remarkable. 13 assists last night. The Grizzlies won again last night. I watched Luka against the Hawks, and, it's not going to end well for Dallas because all Atlanta was doing is double-teaming Luka. I mean, he still got 30, but if you don't have another weapon, I don't care how good you are. The Joker showed that. Last year, if you don't have any help, it doesn't matter. Still great. Every single night. LeBron had 32. Lakers lost to the Kings. So LeBron's averaging 35 a game in January. That's his highest average in a calendar month in his career. Woo!
Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Woo! According to DraftKings, the Joker is the big favorite for MVP right now. Then it's Luka, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. I think the media is waiting for either Jason Tatum or Luka to step up. And Jason Tatum's been very good for a very good team. Luka has put up some incredible numbers just about every night. But the Joker is there. It's just like steady wins the race. And you watch him and you go, how does he do it? But he does it every single night. Yeah, Marv.
Yeah, last night Jokic broke Alex English franchise record for assists in Nuggets history.
And I wouldn't think Alex English would have the record because he rarely passed. He was a great scorer. Yeah, Paulie.
Jokic is also averaging 9.9 assists per game. He's a tick away from averaging a triple-double this year. He's second in the league in assists. Luka is fourth in the league in assists. These guys are the leading scorers and the leading passers.
That's amazing.
Like Tyrese Halliburton is a true point guard. He averages like 15 points, 10 rebounds, or 10 assists.
Yeah.
But these other guys are 30 points, 9 assists.
It's great to watch. It just would never make the highlights. If I was doing SportsCenter now and they go, hey, you're going to get the Denver highlights, I'd be like, all right. Can I get the Memphis Grizzlies highlights too, please? Can you even it out? Can you give me something that's exciting there? But every single night. And imagine you're facing somebody who makes it look so simple that it's so frustrating. You're like, how's he doing this? Because there's no explosion whatsoever. It's like Luka. And Luka has this ability to, he has the game at his own pace. He slows the game down at his pace, which is remarkable because normally you'll get a guy who can have a pace that's fast. Now, John Morant has a pace. The Joker has a pace. But Luka is a unique pace because he's on the perimeter. He's got guys guarding him out there. And, you know, he's able to have contact, body position, step back, all of those things. But to be able to never, him and Kawhi Leonard, two guys who move at a different speed, but can control, well, at least Kawhi used to be able to do this, control the game at their speed. Yes, Eaton.
Luka plays basketball sort of the way Le'Veon Bell would wait for a hole to open up in the line, and then he would shoot through it. That's kind of how Luka bounces his way to the hoop.
Yeah. Because, you know, LaShawn would kind of drift, and then find the hole and create, or Le'Veon, and he created a whole different running style.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, he just kind of floats and floats and floats, boom. And, I mean, Luka doesn't have that explosion, but basketball is all about angles. I've said this before. When you go, how does that guy get rebounds? How does that guy get that? How can he get his shot off? Everything's angles. And that ability to get to that spot before you get there, or when I get there, what am I going to do when I get there? And you're seeing basketball played at a different speed, at a different level, and it doesn't have that much to do with three-point shooting. Yeah, Marv.
DP, you ever play somebody where they have an old man game and you're like, all you got to do is, and you try to, you're telling the guy guarding him, and then you play him, and then you try to guard him. You're like, oh, this is a little harder than I thought.
When I first moved to New York in the early 80s, I stayed at the Downtown Athletic Club. Now, prior to 9/11, that was where they held the Heisman Trophy ceremony. And I stayed there for a couple of months. And I remember they'd have pickup games every night, like 5 o'clock. And like Mike Dunleavy Sr. was in there. There'd be all these Wall Street guys that come in. And I remember we played a pickup game. And there was a guy who's probably about 6'5", and he had cut-off jean shorts on, and he had a T-shirt on, and he had high-top white Converse. I go, I got him. That guy torched me. He couldn't jump. He couldn't run. He just out-old manned me. He just knew how to play basketball. Plain and simple, where you go, how the hell is he? And then, eventually I'd say, hey, somebody else better pick him up. Because he had that, and then I find out he played in the Ivy League, but he just had this, when you have a guy who picks and rolls, or he boxes you out, like all the things that nobody does anymore, and you're like, this is not going to be any fun. This guy torched me. Not that I can play defense, but I'm like, I always try to pick out the guy that I want to play defense against, and all of a sudden I'm like, I picked the wrong guy.